Get your ass to Mars. This is space news. That's a terrible impersonation. I gotta work on my Arnold impersonation. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Space News. Kevin, give me the lowdown.
Alright, so a small thing that we can lead off with is basically an outreach thing that NASA's doing right now. It's all in anticipation of the Orion test flight that will be happening December 4th.
This year.
So Exploration Flight Test 1, it'll be the first time a NASA-made crew-capable spaceship will be going into space. It'll be automated, and it'll be up there for a few hours before coming back down as part of the test.
Nice.
Now, what has been revealed is that you can sign up to have your name somehow sort of included to go up with the capsule into space. I don't know how they're actually doing it, whether it's just like a list of the names or because like so far over 80, like over 40, a bunch of thousands of we can actually know, you know what, when we publish this video we can put the recent number because they show the number on the website.
It'll be down here. And
this many boarding passes.
Right.
You can submit your name as like a boarding pass to be included on the test flight.
At this website right here.
Right. So you can do this. Supposedly, when you register with your email address, it'll count the miles of the flight towards your email address, and they'll be doing this multiple times with multiple tests, building it up into something that, you know, that there could be like benefits or like free downloadables or something.
So you get frequent flyer miles, essentially.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
So sign up. Why not? Put your name in space.
The link will also be in the description below. But that is not all, folks. There's other space news, which has to do with inflatable things. And I'm not talking about those bouncy castles that make you feel like you're on the moon. This is more important.
So the company Bigelow Aerospace has been working on an inflatable space station module design for the International Space Station and private industry. So they once put a very small test version up in orbit, not connected to the ISS, like free-floating on its own.
Yeah.
And it was able to maintain pressure and everything. They even had a little webcam that showed all like pictures of the developers, like family and friends floating around in space. And so now they have a much bigger version that they will be sending up on a resupply mission to the International Space Station next year. And it'll be attached to one of the laboratory nodes and inflated so they could test out getting extra space to the International Space Station.
We need more space in space. Yes. What do they actually inflate it with? Like what gas? Is it just oxygen? It's not
pure oxygen, but it like because most of the interior would be actually usable for like there could be like a crew deck, an engineering deck, just storage along the sides.
Exactly.
And it would just be normal atmospheric air.
Right. Well, yeah, inside. But I mean, so it's all just being constant pressure inside to keep it inflated.
I know there's also it's a pretty thick layer on the outside, and I don't know what inflates that.
Okay, yeah, that's what I was wondering.
Now, some people complain, like, could this be deflated by space debris? And actually, that layer that's on the outside withstands impacts better because it's like an airbag.
It's, like, malleable, so it can, like...
Right. Whereas the International Space Station, it actually has, like, solid pseudo-armor plating on some sides of some modules. Because if something hits, it'll be like a ballistic impact, and it won't try and recoil at all.
You don't want that. Projectiles in space, not a good idea. What we need now, though, to add on to this inflatable thing, is an inflatable bouncy castle. Just saying. That's what it should look like.
House.
If we can choose what they look like, I want an inflatable bouncy house on the end, like attached to the end of the International Space Station. Because, come on. That's where all the astronauts are going to want to go. It's like, oh man, it's Friday night, guys. Let's go into this International Space Station's giant inflatable bouncy castle and just, well, I mean, they're already in space, but they can bounce off the walls. And...
So, speaking of like living in space, NASA's been investigating an alternate method to help astronauts get to Mars.
Now, it takes a while to get to Mars. I think it's about a 180-day trip is what I've read for how much it would take for NASA to send somebody from here to Mars.
Yeah, depending on when you send them.
Depending on when you leave and, you know, your trajectory and all that sort of stuff. But let's say it's 180 days. Now, to keep a person alive for 180 days on Earth is not very hard. There's food, there's water, There's oxygen. There's plenty of that stuff.
There's places to run around to keep your muscles from atrophying.
That's fine. Now, if you're in space, it's a lot harder because you have to pack a lot of crap with you if you want to keep that person fed for 180 days, have them have water for 180 days, and you have to have a lot of, well, I guess the waste isn't a problem. You can just jettison that out the window. But NASA has been investigating, no joke, hibernation, or kind of like a deep sleep, or not cryo freezing. Let's get that way.
We're not freezing them.
Not really. So the idea is that you can actually basically put a person into a type of hypothermia. I think is what it's called. Yeah, it's therapeutic hypothermia. I know. This is actually kind of like freezing. So they basically inject you with this cooling fluid through your nose, and it goes inside your body, and it cools your body down to really low temperatures. So that you don't, so all your metabolic rates and everything drop, your heart rate drops, everything drops down to survivable levels.
And when they have IVs connected?
Yep, you're connected through to get your nutrition and all that stuff, like all the vitals, the vital stuff that you need to survive will be pumped into you.
So
this will.
It sounds good for the food and water part, but one of the big things about space is that your muscles will waste away really fast.
Yes.
The astronauts on the ISS need to work out, I think, around 2 hours a day, or some statistic like that, in order to keep your muscles at least functional and not not waste weight on unhealthy levels.
Right.
So any trip to Mars, you would need some way to exercise constantly.
They're just freezing your muscles.
Freeze the muscles.
How can your muscles atrophy if they can't do anything, if they're just frozen?
Oh, so freeze metabolism so even that doesn't degrade?
I don't know. They haven't really talked about that. But yes, the exercise would be a problem. So you couldn't really do a full hibernation state if you had to wake them up, every so often to get them exercise, right? It'd be much harder to do. And at this point in time, the research has gone into this, can only really put a person into this state for a week at most. So that's 7 days, and we need to get up to 180 days. So this has a long way to go before it becomes anything remotely viable.
Maybe emergency usage they could use it for.
But right now, it's not really a viable way to help save on resources to get to Mars. But because we're already at the point where we do have 7 days, this is something that can be built on to eventually get us to this hibernation, freezing system that you see in sci-fi movies, essentially, which is crazy. Dude, you could go to Mars. I could just hit you over the head with a club, put some antifreeze in you, and launch you into space on an inflatable spaceship and send you to Mars.
Someone's going to make a movie about that.
Already done.
Is that the next pitch?
That's my next pitch, yes.
All right.
Well, thanks for watching Space News. If you want to get more space news or some older space news, you can check out the videos over there. Please like this video and subscribe. Hit the logo up there. Hit the button down there. There's stuff down there in the description. Tons of links for you to check out. We'll put a link for putting your name into space.
Yep.
NASA stuff, all that good junk. Thank you for watching. It really means a lot to us, and we know you love space. So if you have questions, literally, about anything in space related, please send them in. Post them in the comments below. Questions about what we just talked about today or anything else, we will get to them. We'll have a special space Q&A section. I will guarantee it. If we get questions, if we get enough questions, we will do this. So once again, thank you for watching, and we'll see you out there.